There comes a moment when you're alone, when the noise fades, when it's just you and your thoughts that you feel it. That pull, that invisible weight on your chest, it's not depression, it's not failure, it's something worse. It's the energy that surrounds you, the people who smile at your wins but secretly hope you fall, the so-called friends who never clap unless you're losing. You feel exhausted not because you're weak, but because you've been feeding parasites with your fire, and deep down you know it. You know who drains your soul, who kills your vision, who steals your time with their drama and doubt. This isn't about hate, it's about survival. You weren't born to dim your light for anyone. You weren't built to carry dead weight and call it loyalty. You want greatness? Then stop babysitting poison. You've got one shot at this life, and every second spent with energy that drains you is a betrayal of your purpose. Choose your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Success is lonely for a reason. The higher you climb, the thinner the air. Distance yourself before it drowns you, because no one's coming to save you but you. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. There is nothing more valuable than your energy. Not money, not time, not even talent. Energy is the fuel behind everything. Your thoughts, your emotions, your focus, your resilience, your drive. And when your energy is off, everything collapses with it. You could have the most brilliant idea, the sharpest plan, the deepest knowledge. But if you're constantly surrounded by chaos, by people who drain you, by negativity, then it's like trying to win a race with chains wrapped around your legs. You won't move forward. You'll suffer silently, wondering why nothing's working, why you're tired even after sleeping, why you're unmotivated even though you have goals, why you can't seem to break through. The truth is, it's not always about you. Sometimes it's about what you've allowed around you. You've let too many distractions sit at your table. You've mistaken comfort for love. You've accepted people who only show up when they need something, who never match your energy, never feed your soul. You've tolerated too many half efforts, too many empty promises, too many one-sided relationships, and now you're starving. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally starving. Because the people around you aren't pouring into you, they're drinking from you. Every conversation that leaves you doubting yourself, every person that mocks your ambition, every situation that steals your peace, that's a withdrawal. You can't keep giving to people who only know how to take. You can't keep shrinking so others feel comfortable. You weren't born to be small. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't born to sit in rooms where your ideas are dismissed, where your presence is ignored, where your energy is consumed without respect. Your future, the one you dream about, the one you fight for, depends on your ability to protect your energy, to walk away when something no longer serves your growth, to say no when your gut screams for space. People will call you selfish. Let them. People will say you've changed. Let them. They'll never understand what it takes to evolve until they have the courage to do it themselves. Growth demands solitude. It demands space to think clearly, to feel deeply, to realign with who you are and what you want. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. You don't owe loyalty to a version of yourself that you've outgrown. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself progress. You owe yourself the life you keep imagining in your head. That life won't happen by accident. It won't happen if you're constantly drained, constantly distracted, constantly doubting. You have to become militant about what you allow into your world. That means cutting ties without guilt. That means unfollowing, blocking, walking away, deleting the number, leaving the room. It's not drama. It's discipline. And discipline is the difference between the life you want and the life you settle for. There's a version of you that's unstoppable. That version lives on the other side of distraction. That version doesn't answer every text, doesn't attend every event, doesn't entertain every opinion. That version protects their mornings, guards their nights, curates their space like a warrior. That version has boundaries, and those boundaries aren't walls, they're shields. They keep your fire burning. They protect your passion from the cold hands of envy, laziness, gossip, and noise. The world is loud. Everyone wants your attention. Everyone wants a piece of your focus. If you don't become intentional, they'll take it all and leave you empty. Empty people can't build empires. You need strength. You need clarity. You need fire. And none of that comes when you're surrounded by people who drain you. You already know who and what takes your power. You feel it. The tension when you see their name pop up. The fatigue after you spend time with them. The frustration of constantly giving more than you receive. It's not just coincidence. It's feedback. And it's your responsibility to listen to it. Protecting your energy is about having the courage to act on what your soul already knows. You won't become who you're meant to be by pleasing everyone. You won't find peace in chaos. You won't reach your potential if you keep babysitting dysfunction. Stop hoping it will change. Stop convincing yourself it's just a phase. Stop ignoring the signs. Some people are not meant to go where you're going, and that's okay. Their role in your story was to teach you, not to travel the whole journey with you. Let them go. Protecting your energy doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. And clarity is what allows you to build. When your energy is protected, your thoughts become sharper. Your goals become clearer. Your steps become stronger. You stop doubting and start doing. You stop reacting and start creating. You move with purpose, with presence, with power. It's not easy. Letting go never is, but neither is staying stuck. You get to choose your hard, stay in the chaos and lose yourself, or step into your power and reclaim your life. Either way, your future will reflect that choice. So choose wisely. You've already wasted too much time explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. You've given too many chances to those who didn't value you. No more. The cost is too high. Your vision is too valuable. Your time is too limited. And your energy, that's sacred. Protect it with everything you have, because the world will only take you as seriously as you take yourself. You want results? You want success? Then guard your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Loyalty to toxicity is self-sabotage. Let that sink in, not just as a catchy phrase, but as a truth that can set you free if you're bold enough to face it. Because too many people wear loyalty like a badge of honor without realizing that sometimes the thing they're loyal to is the very thing destroying them from the inside out. You stay, you tolerate, you endure, all in the name of loyalty. You keep giving your time, your energy, your heart to people, places, and habits that have proven over and over they don't deserve it. And every time you do, you chip away at your self-worth. You teach yourself to accept pain disguised as love, dysfunction disguised as normal, and emotional starvation disguised as commitment. Toxicity doesn't always show up screaming. Sometimes it whispers. It convinces you that you're overreacting. It makes you second guess your gut. It cloaks itself in guilt trips, in emotional blackmail, in subtle manipulation. It tells you this is how it's always been, or their family, you can't just walk away, or you owe them, they were there for you once, and so you stay. You keep the peace, you bend, you break, you bleed quietly, because loyalty told you this is what strength looks like, but that's a lie. Real strength isn't staying in pain. Real strength is knowing when to walk away from it. Real strength is understanding that loyalty, when placed in the wrong hands, becomes a weapon used against you. There are people who will drain you and still call you selfish for needing space. There are people who will hurt you and expect forgiveness without change. There are people who will see your loyalty as an opportunity, not to grow, not to love you better, but to manipulate, to use, to control. And if you keep standing by them, if you keep accepting the bare minimum because of history or obligation, then you're not being loyal. You're betraying yourself. You've convinced yourself that walking away is failure. It's not. Staying in a situation that slowly poisons your soul is the real failure. Staying where your light is constantly dimmed, where your voice is silenced, where your efforts are taken for granted. That's not loyalty. That's self-abandonment. And the longer you stay, the more pieces of yourself you lose. You start doubting your value. You start lowering your standards. You start accepting chaos as normal. You become numb, disconnected from your own needs, your own dreams, your own truth. And one day you wake up realizing that the loyalty you so proudly gave never brought you peace, only pain. Loyalty isn't supposed to hurt. Loyalty is supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to be rooted in respect, in care, in reciprocity. It's supposed to elevate you, not exhaust you. When it's real, loyalty feels safe. It feels nourishing. But when it's toxic, it feels like walking on eggshells. It feels like guilt. It feels like fear of speaking your truth. And if that's the loyalty you've been giving, you're not being noble. You're being trapped. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to outgrow environments, conversations, relationships, even family ties if they continuously bring you down. Growth isn't betrayal. Protecting your peace isn't betrayal. Prioritizing your mental health, your future, your well-being, that's not selfish. That's survival. That's wisdom. That's maturity. And yes, it will hurt. Letting go always hurts. But so does holding on to what's killing you. Every time you justify toxic behavior with they mean well, or they've been through a lot, or maybe I'm too sensitive, you bury your truth deeper. You silence your soul, and your soul knows, it always knows, that knot in your stomach, that heaviness in your chest, that emotional exhaustion, those aren't random. Those are alarms, warnings, signs that the energy you're loyal to is toxic. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. You can't grow in soil poisoned by resentment, manipulation, control, and emotional neglect. You have to be honest about what's really going on. You have to stop making excuses for people who wouldn't hesitate to let you drown if it meant they stayed afloat. You have to stop glorifying loyalty when it's nothing more than emotional bondage. Look at where your loyalty has taken you. Has it made you better? Has it inspired you to grow? Has it uplifted you, or has it drained you, isolated you, made you doubt your worth, your voice, your truth? If it's the latter, then the most loyal thing you can do is be loyal to yourself, to the version of you that's trying to break free, the version that wants more, that dreams bigger, that refuses to shrink just to make others comfortable. The world will try to shame you for choosing yourself. Let it. People will talk. Let them. The ones who benefit from your silence, your sacrifice, your suffering, they'll always have something to say when you choose to rise. But that's not your burden. You weren't put here to live a life of quiet misery for the sake of false loyalty. You were made to evolve, to expand, to become. And sometimes becoming means burning bridges, not out of hate, but out of healing. Forgive, but don't forget the lesson. Love, but don't lose yourself. Be loyal, but not at the cost of your sanity. You can't save everyone. You're not responsible for fixing what you didn't break. Your only responsibility is to protect your peace and honor your purpose. If someone or something constantly threatens that, then your loyalty is being abused, not appreciated. No more pouring into cups that never pour back. No more staying because you're afraid of what they'll think. No more allowing toxic people to wear the mask of love. It's time to reclaim your power, to be loyal to your growth, your healing, your journey, to realize that walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's courage. It's freedom. Loyalty to toxicity is self-sabotage. And the longer you cling to it, the longer you delay the life you're meant to live. Let go. Stand up. Choose yourself loudly, unapologetically, and without guilt. You don't owe anyone your suffering. You owe yourself your future. Everything you allow around you, every person, every voice, every atmosphere, every routine, it's all working on you, whether you see it or not. It's molding you, shaping your thoughts, influencing your beliefs, determining what you think is possible, and ultimately carving out the path you walk. You are not a machine. You don't exist in isolation. You are the product of what surrounds you, of what you give your time and focus to. If you're not intentional, your environment will build you into something you never wanted to be. If you're not ruthless with what you allow into your life, you'll wake up years from now wondering how you ended up far from your purpose. You can't plant a seed in cement and expect it to grow. You can't keep placing your dreams in toxic soil, negative conversations, lazy company, chaotic routines, and expect them to flourish. You might have all the potential in the world, but if your environment doesn't support that potential, you'll stay stuck. You'll stay frustrated. You'll stay small. Growth isn't just about mindset. It's about environment. Even the strongest minds are weakened by the wrong surroundings. And even the most wounded souls can rise in the right atmosphere. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they pushing you, or are they pacifying you? Are they calling you to a higher level, or are they keeping you complacent because your growth threatens their comfort? Energy is contagious. Discipline is contagious. So is laziness, so is doubt, so is fear. You can catch someone else's limitations like a disease if you're not careful. You can adopt their excuses, their worldview, their pain without even realizing it. That's how powerful the environment is. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It shapes you subtly. And one day, you find yourself living a life that looks nothing like the one you dreamed of. Not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't protect your space. There are people out there who are surviving on average because they've built their lives around people who aim low, people who laugh at ambition, who hate on discipline, who avoid accountability. And if you're not careful, their mindset becomes your ceiling. You start thinking dreaming big is too much. You start accepting chaos as normal. You stop chasing excellence because you don't see anyone else doing it. That's not fate. That's environment. That's what happens when you surround yourself with the wrong influence. But it also works the other way. You put yourself in a room where people are leveling up, where success is the standard, where excuses aren't tolerated, and you'll start to rise just by association. You'll feel embarrassed to complain. You'll start demanding more of yourself. You'll start to see what's possible when average isn't an option. That's the power of the right environment. It pulls greatness out of you that you didn't even know existed. It sharpens your edge. It raises your standards. It forces you to evolve. This applies to everything, not just people. Your physical space matters too. If your home is a mess, your mind will be a mess. If your phone is filled with junk content, your thoughts will be clouded with distractions. If your daily routines are chaotic, your results will be too. You have to audit everything. The books you read, the media you consume, the energy you allow in your space, all of it is either planting seeds or pulling you apart. Discipline is easier when the environment supports it. Focus is sharper when distractions are removed. Motivation is stronger when you see others striving with you. The right environment doesn't make life perfect. It makes it possible. It sets the stage for your effort to matter. It aligns your energy with your ambition. And without that alignment, even the hardest work will lead you nowhere. Some people keep grinding, keep pushing, keep trying, and still don't move forward. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack vision, but because they're trapped in environments that fight against them, environments that drain them before they can even begin. That's why changing your surroundings is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You don't owe loyalty to an atmosphere that kills your spirit. You don't have to keep showing up to rooms where you leave feeling smaller every time. You have one life, and how you spend it will be determined largely by who and what you keep around you. So choose wisely. Build with intention. Curate your circle. Create an environment that reflects where you want to go, not where you've been. If you want to be a champion, you need to live in a training camp, not a comfort zone. If you want to build a legacy, you need to walk with builders, not with people who live for gossip, for chaos, for comfort. It's not easy. Choosing the right environment often means outgrowing the old one. It means letting go of people who knew the past version of you but refuse to accept the new one. It means walking away from habits that once felt good but now feel heavy. It means stepping into discomfort because growth is always uncomfortable at first, but the pain of change is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Every successful person has had to shift their environment. They had to leave behind something familiar for something uncertain. They had to trade comfort for challenge, distractions for discipline, noise for clarity, and you will too. You can't evolve in the same environment you broke in. Or you can't find peace in the same storm that made you question your worth. This is your wake-up call. Look around you. Who is feeding your fire and who is pouring water on it? What in your space is helping you grow and what is keeping you stuck? Be brutally honest. You can't fix what you won't face, and you can't build the life you want while living in a place that suffocates your spirit. You have to make the hard choices now so you don't suffer the consequences later. Your future is being shaped right now, not just by what you do, but by what you allow. Every decision, every relationship, every habit, it's forming the foundation of your destiny. So guard your space like your life depends on it, because it does. Your dreams are too important. Your potential is too rare. Your time is too limited. Don't waste another second in an environment that doesn't reflect your greatness. Create the space, build the circle, shape the atmosphere. Because your environment shapes your destiny, choose wisely. It's one of the hardest truths to accept, but the longer you avoid it, the longer you delay your breakthrough. Growth isn't just about adding new habits, reading more books, or setting bigger goals. It's about subtraction. It's about letting go of everything that no longer aligns with who you're becoming, even when it hurts, even when it's people you love, even when it's routines that once made you feel safe. Because true transformation isn't comfortable. It demands sacrifice. And at the center of that sacrifice is separation. You can't stay in the same rooms with the same people doing the same things and expect a different life. That's not growth. That's stagnation. That's delusion. Growth means choosing yourself even when others don't understand. It means outgrowing conversations, distancing yourself from relationships that no longer serve your future, and walking away from the comfort that's been holding you back. Not out of hate, not out of pride, but out of necessity. Because staying small to keep others comfortable is the most dangerous kind of betrayal. It's betrayal of your potential. And make no mistake, real separation is brutal. It's lonely. It's heavy. It means disappointing people. It means being misunderstood. It means sitting in silence while you rebuild your life from the ground up. But there's no shortcut. You have to be willing to detach from everything that's not designed for your elevation. The old version of you, your habits, your vices, your insecurities, your distractions, can't walk through the door of the future you're trying to build. That version has to die. Most people never grow because they're afraid of what they'll lose. They fear letting go of that friend group that's been around for years, even if those friends constantly bring negativity. They fear leaving behind that job, even though it's killing their spirit. They fear being alone, even though the relationship they're in is filled with disrespect, dishonesty, or stagnation. But what they don't realize is that staying in those situations is a slow death, a life of quiet resentment. A prison built out of comfort. You were not born to stay the same. You were not created to live a life of settling. You're supposed to evolve. And every evolution requires separation from people, from patterns, from mindsets that belong to your old life. Think about a snake. It doesn't grow by stretching its skin. It grows by shedding it. That shedding process is uncomfortable, vulnerable, isolating, but it's necessary. And you're no different. You have to stop negotiating with your old self. Stop trying to carry dead weight into the next chapter. Stop trying to convince people who clearly don't see your vision. Stop shrinking yourself to be accepted by those who are committed to staying the same. If you want real growth, you need to be okay with walking alone for a while. You need to be okay with silence, with separation. Because in that space of isolation, you'll meet the real you. You'll meet the disciplined you, the focused you, the powerful you, the free you. Yes, it's lonely at the top, but it's even lonelier in regret. It's lonelier living a life you know isn't meant for you just because you were too afraid to leave people behind. Every time you avoid separation, you delay your calling. You mute your inner voice. You dishonor the fire that's trying to guide you into something greater. And that fire will never go away. It will keep nagging you, keep whispering, keep pushing until one day, if you keep ignoring it, it fades and you settle. You become what you feared, another person who never became who they were meant to be. But if you're brave enough to listen, if you're willing to let go, you will grow into something powerful. You'll attract new energy. You'll meet people who match your mindset. You'll discover opportunities that you never saw before because your vision was clouded by your past. You'll stop doubting yourself because you'll realize you were never the problem. Your environment was. You'll stop questioning your path because you'll be surrounded by clarity, by alignment, by peace. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's not a one-time thing. Growth is a continual process of separation. Every level demands a new version of you, and with it, the courage to let go of whatever no longer fits. Sometimes it's not even toxic things you have to leave. It's good things, comfortable things, familiar things. But good doesn't mean great. Comfortable doesn't mean purposeful. Familiar doesn't mean right. You can't elevate your life if you're addicted to staying comfortable. You can't manifest new blessings if your hands are still holding on to things that were meant to end. Separation clears the space. It creates room for something better, something higher, something real. The universe responds to clarity. When you let go of what's not for you, you make room for what is. So yes, real growth will require you to distance yourself from noise, from comfort, from opinions, from the version of you that kept settling. That's the price. But what you gain on the other side is worth every sacrifice. You gain power, vision, alignment. You gain the strength to say no to what once distracted you. You gain the confidence to move forward without second guessing yourself. It's okay to grieve what you had to leave behind. That's part of the process. But don't stay stuck in that grief. Don't go back to what broke you just because you're afraid of the unknown. The unknown is where everything real begins. You don't find purpose in your comfort zone. You find it in the wild places, in the spaces where you're forced to grow, to stretch, to build. So if you feel yourself changing, let it happen. Or don't fight it. Don't try to pull old people into your new mindset. Don't keep revisiting what you've outgrown. Your life is calling for separation, for space, for silence, for clarity. Listen to it. Lean into it. Trust it. Because the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this separation, that version is stronger, wiser, freer, and finally aligned with the future you've always dreamed of. Real growth demands real separation. Not sometimes, always. The wrong people don't just waste your time. They destroy your belief. This is deeper than missed opportunities or lost hours. This is about the silent, dangerous way that being around the wrong people can damage the core of who you are. Or not in an instant, not with some loud betrayal, but slowly, quietly, in ways you don't even realize until it's too late. You start second guessing yourself. You start playing small. You stop dreaming. Not because you've changed, but because the energy around you has worn you down. When you surround yourself with people who don't believe in you, who mock ambition, who live in fear and doubt, you begin to internalize their mindset. Their limitations become your limits. Their disbelief becomes your doubt. Their comfort zone becomes your prison. At first, you tell yourself it's not that serious. You tell yourself you're just being loyal, just being understanding, just being patient. But with every conversation that minimizes your ideas, every passive-aggressive comment that kills your excitement, every subtle moment where they laugh at your vision, you lose a little more belief in yourself. These people might not be screaming you'll fail in your face, but they plant it in your spirit. They question your timing. They remind you of your past. They highlight your flaws. And eventually you stop reaching like you used to. You stop planning with fire. You lower your standards, your pace, your passion, just to match theirs. That's what makes it so dangerous. It doesn't feel like destruction. It feels like being realistic. It feels like being wise or cautious, but it's not. It's fear. Their fear. Masked as love. Masked as care. Masked as advice. And if you're not aware, you'll accept their version of you, the small version, the safe version, the watered down version, and you'll forget who you are. You'll forget the bold, limitless, driven side of you that once believed anything was possible. That's what the wrong people do. They don't just waste your time. They change your identity. And the most dangerous part, they often don't know they're doing it. Sometimes it's not evil. It's just broken people spreading their broken mindset. People who gave up on their dreams, convincing you to give up on yours. People who live in survival mode, trying to talk you out of building something extraordinary. People who have never tasted freedom, trying to tell you freedom isn't real. They're not always enemies. Sometimes they're friends, family, partners, people who love you, but don't believe in themselves. And that lack of self-belief spills onto you. You cannot grow in an environment where your belief is constantly under attack. You cannot build something meaningful if you're constantly forced to defend your dreams to small-minded people. You cannot rise when you are surrounded by those who are committed to crawling. Belief is everything. It's the foundation of action, of progress, of success. If you lose belief, you lose direction, you lose discipline, you lose drive. So protecting your belief must become your top priority. That means making hard choices. That means stepping back from relationships where every conversation leaves you drained instead of inspired. That means distancing yourself from people who only show up when you're down and disappear when you're leveling up. That means having the courage to choose solitude over company that poisons your spirit. Because being alone with your belief is better than being surrounded by people who kill it. You have to be fiercely intentional about who gets access to your mind, your time, your space. Surround yourself with those who ignite your fire, not smother it. Those who challenge you to go higher, not convince you to stay where you are. Those who see your potential and speak to it, even when you're doubting yourself. That kind of energy is rare. But it's necessary, because belief isn't just personal, it's relational. You become what you're surrounded by. Look back at the times when you were most inspired, most consistent, most aligned. I guarantee you were either surrounded by belief or fiercely guarding your own. And look at the times you were stuck, unsure, unmotivated. Chances are there was someone or multiple people in your life who kept planting doubt, fear, hesitation. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And you have to break it. You have to start seeing belief as sacred, as something that must be protected at all costs, because belief is the root of everything you want. It's the reason you start. It's the reason you keep going. It's the reason you get back up when life hits hard. Without belief, you're just existing, going through motions, waiting, hoping, drowning in procrastination. And if the wrong people are around you long enough, they'll convince you that's all there is, that average is acceptable, that dreams are childish, that risk is dangerous, that ambition is arrogance. And worst of all, they'll convince you to stop trying, to give up before you even begin. That's the death of belief, not in one big moment, but in 1,000 little ones, slowly breaking you down. But here's the truth they'll never tell you. You are not like them. You were not made to play small. You were not made to live stuck in doubt and fear. You were born with power, with purpose, with fire, and deep down you know it. That's why their energy bothers you. That's why you feel out of place. Because your spirit knows you don't belong in circles where your light is dimmed. You belong in places that remind you of your greatness, that reflect your potential.